Welcome back to assignment number 3. So far we have that cross piece with the piece sticking out of it, and that'll be our top. So now we need to create the opposite and almost create like a block with a cross cutout and then a hole all the way through it. So it's sort of like you're creating the opposite of what you just created. So we're going to start out by hitting create. And this time we're going to name it bottom. Once we're in our main screen here, let me make my tools larger. I'm going to click sketch. And this time I'm going to click on front again. From there I'm going to make a sketch the same way I did in the previous assignments. Use the rectangle tool. Click my origin point and drag out. So I need my block, my overall block, to be 2.25 by 2.25. Okay, so what we're going to do is create a block and then cut material away from it. So in the past we've done what's called the additive method, where we're adding material to things that already exist. This time we're going to subtract material. So I have my block here. I'm going to extrude that block out 1.5. Okay, and what that is saying is that cube here is 3 blocks long, 3 blocks tall, 2 blocks in depth. Those blocks would be if you had this green piece that I have in front of you, you would be able to differentiate the height levels. All right, and you will whenever we cut away this material. All right, so now we have this block, and we need to cut away that cross from it. So just like we did in the first one, I did that a little fast. Let me go back. So I'm going to hit sketch, and I'm going to draw my cross on this plane. So the plane is my object. I'm going to click on that object. All right, and then I'm going to draw my rectangle on it. So I'm going to come over and try to find somewhere near the center and draw my block 2.25. So if you go from the bottom to the top, it should be 2.25, right? But what's important is that I change this down here to 0.75. And then 2.25 is good. Okay, and before I move on, I'm actually going to use my dimension tool, so D on your keyboard or right here, and I'm going to center this up. So I'm going to click on this line and this line and bring it down, and 0.82 isn't quite centered. 0.75 will be. So now this rectangle is right in the center of my block. Next thing I'm going to do is draw another rectangle, but this time horizontally across. Make sure it's 2.25. And then I'm going to make it 0.75 in width. So again, if that's not 2.25, make sure you change it before you move on. Then I'm going to do the same thing and take my dimension tool right here. Click on this top line and that top line and drag it out. 0.736, not quite. We need to make that 0.75. So your numbers will be different, but. So now we need to use the cut tool, those scissors or M on your keyboard, to trim up and create this into one shape. So now I have my cross. Right? So this is the subtractive method, because instead of adding material with my cross here, I'm going to remove it. So the remove material, we use extrude. Click on our object, but this time we're going to change the direction. So you'll get an error once you change the direction. We're going to have to remove that material. So you have to change from add to remove. And we're only going to remove 0.75, not 1 inch. Go ahead and hit the check mark. And we have the main base for our bottom piece. The last thing we need to do is create a hole dead center for that piece that's sticking up from the top. That's your other part. So we have to create one last sketch on the inside of that cross. Use the rectangle tool and draw from corner to corner. Should be 0.75. Right? Hit the check mark to end your sketch. Right? If you get numbers other than 0.75 by 0.75, make sure you fix that. Don't continue. Then I'm going to come back and extrude that all the way through. So change it to remove. Oh, and it pushes it all the way back. Right? So this could be any number. It's going to go through the part anyway. And since our part's over, you can see it ends here. Since our part is over, it doesn't matter where we place it. But in the future, if we're adding more parts, you don't want to create a hole that is too long. So let's make it 0.75 and hit the check mark. And that's it for the part. Last thing we want to do is change the appearance. We're going to change our part to a color that's not the color that we made our top piece. So mine was pink. I'll make this one just like in real life. I'll make it like a green. I'll hit check. And then I'm going to share it. Change to teams. Find your class. And change to can view. Go ahead and hit share. And I will approve your project.